This is the summary for Lesson 8, Comparing Relationships with Equations. And in the summary, the authors are making the point that if you take the b values in a table and you divide those values by a, you will always get the same answer for a proportional relationship. So in this case, b divided by a always gives you the answer of 5. So the quotient, b divided by a, is equal to 5. I added one more line and I added a drawing of that to show you once again what's going on. So if I have 7 groups, and in each of those groups I have 5 dots, how many total dots do I have? Well, I have 7 times 5 equals 35 dots. So if I take those 35 dots and divide those by the 7 groups, then I'm going to get an answer of 5 dots in each of these groups. So that 5 is the constant of proportionality. So however many groups I have, I multiply that number of groups by the 5, the constant of proportionality, and I'm going to get an answer in this case of 35. So A is the number of groups, B is the number of dots in each group, and that's 5 dots per group. Regardless of the number of groups, there are always 5 dots in that group. So that's proportional. If you double the number of groups, you double the number of dots. If you triple the number of groups, you triple the number of dots, and so on. And so they go on to say if the form of the equation takes the general form of y equals kx, and we saw that a couple of activities ago. And if you can write the relationship in this form, so in this case it's y, 35, is equal to the number of groups, 7 in this case, times 5, the constant of proportionality. So 35 equals 5 times 7. So you can write it in that form. K is the constant of proportionality. X is I think I may have said it wrong. X is the number of groups. And 35 is the total number of dots. So K is 5. X is 7 groups. 5 times 7 is 35 total dots. And so think of this as a multiplication fact. So I use the multiplication fact up here of 5 times 7 equals 35. And what that tells you is that B is 5 times as much as A. So B is the 35. That is 5 times as much as A, 7. So you're asking the question, how many A's can I get out of the total amount of B that I have? In this case, you can get 5 of them. So how many 7s can I get out of 35? You can get 5. That tells you it's 5 dots per 7 groups. I have 7 groups. How many of those 7 groups do I have with 35 total dots? Well, I have, how many dots are in each group? If I have a total of 7 groups and 35 dots, I have 5 dots per group. So regardless of the number of groups, there are always 5 dots per group. So this is the summary. It's useful to read through it on your own and just think about it on your own. What kind of image of a proportional relationship can you come up with on your own?